Hi, I'm Martina Donlan, and I head the climate team in the UN Global Communications Department.
Hi, I'm Sylvan Obed. I'm Executive Director of Enable Disable Action and Youth for Climate Champion from DRC. We are going to have a heart-to-heart conversation.
Great. Well, it's so nice to meet you. So I'll ask you the first question.
Thank you.
What COP outcome would be really meaningful to you?
The COP outcome, which is really meaningful for me, is to see how the loss and damage found will be implemented. And it's not the first one because promises have been done. But for this one, I want really found to reach grassroots organization directly, like people who are suffering much from climate crisis. So when do you think about the future? How do you feel and why?
Well, I feel hopeful, even though we are so off track in meeting the goals of the Paris Agreement. So much more needs to be done, and so much faster. I do still feel hopeful when I think about the future, because so much change is happening, actually. If we look at renewable energy, for instance, this year, for instance, there was more money invested in solar power than in oil production. That's encouraging. Also, by 2025, renewables will actually will overtake coal as the main source of electricity for the world. And by 2030, the IEA says that demand for all three fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, will have peaked and will stop growing for the first time in history. So there's really positive trends out there, which I find encouraging, and I think we are on the right path. We just need to accelerate action, and I'm hopeful. And now the next question for you is, why are intergenerational conversations like this needed?
Yeah, so this conversation which we are having, it's needed because we have much to learn from the old, as a youth, the old generation, and the old generation has also much to learn from the youth. Youth is the power. Youth is the one who you will be going to give, and the world. It's our responsibility to start learning from you. And then we can try to see how we can do things differently. That's why the intergenerational is really very important for us. And for you, why this intergenerational conversation like this means for you?
I mean, just as you said, I think there's so much we can learn from each other. And the older generation has, failed in many respects. The Secretary General also said that recently. Older generation has failed to solve the climate crisis. So there's mistakes that have been made, and this expertise, lessons learned, and wisdom can hopefully be shared and taken forward by the younger generation, who can teach us a lot. And we need that kind of new energy, new initiative, and new ways of thinking, I think, to solve today's problem, and the younger generation can bring that to the table. And last question is, what's your piece of advice for me?
My piece of advice is for you, your last word. Really, youth has to have its place on the table. And as you said, the older generation had failed in some questions, and now I think it's the time to understand and to acknowledge that youth is the solution. Youth are the future and the present. It means the advice which I can give is to continue this conversation, and on manifold inclusion of youth, with the participation of youth, that could be more helpful for our community, because youth are doing all the work on the ground, and youth are really using innovation, creativity to respond to climate crisis. I think the only advice which I can give to you is more inclusive of young people. And what kind of advice can you give to me too?
I would say, keep up your good work, keep it going, keep speaking up, keep raising your voice, keep pushing leaders to do what we want them to do, because the youth movement has made a huge difference, and we need your voice, your energy, your activism. So keep doing what you do. Don't be deterred by setbacks or anything. We need you to keep this up. It's really important work, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having this heart-to-heart conversation. It really
Heart-to-heart.
comes from your heart, and that makes it very good. Thank you.
Thank you.